All right, dear brethren, here we are. Workbook Lesson 94, the one you've been waiting for. I am as God created me. And this is something that was Jesus started to get into yesterday in yesterday's lesson, which was light and joy and peace abide in me. And he was saying that I'm still as God created me. I have not changed. God has not changed and I have not changed. The lesson before that was miracles are seen in light, and light and strength are one. And then right before that was miracles are seen in light. So miracles are seen in light, and then miracles are seen in light, and light and strength are one. And light and joy and peace abide in me. I am not the home of darkness, evil, darkness, and sin, but I am of light and joy and peace. That is my nature. That is my true nature. That is the self that God created. That is the one self. And so today is I am as God created me. And I want to just mention, I'm about to actually publish an album on YouTube, not YouTube, it's going to be out on Spotify, not YouTube. I'm going to post a link to the song. So I asked my friend who was helping me a little bit he helped a lot actually, to mix and master the final product. And I asked him, what's your favorite song or some of your favorite songs? And he listed a few, and then he came back today and he said, actually, this one, I like this one a lot. I think this might be the best. And that one, in that song, I say, I am as God created me. So it was a little bit of a synchronicity. And I will post the link to that song so you can hear it. And so I am as God created me. Paragraph 1, Workbook Lesson 94. Today we continue with the one idea which brings complete salvation, the one statement which makes all forms of temptation powerless, the one thought which renders the ego silent and entirely undone. You are as God created you. The sounds of this world are still, the sights of this world disappear, and all the thoughts that this world ever held are wiped away forever by this one idea. Here is salvation accomplished. Here is sanity restored. Paragraph 2. True light is strength, and strength is sinlessness. If you remain as God created you, you must be strong and light. You must be strong and light must be in you. He who ensured your sinlessness must be the guarantee of strength and light as well. You are as God created you. Darkness cannot obscure the glory of God's Son. You stand in light, strong in the sinlessness in which you were created and in which you will remain throughout eternity. Paragraph 3. Today we will again devote the first 5 minutes of each waking hour to the attempt to feel the truth in you. Begin these times of searching with these words. I am as God created me. I am his Son eternally. It's a little rhyme there. I am as God created me. I am his Son eternally. Now try to reach the Son of God in you. This is the self that never sinned, nor made an image to replace reality. This is the self that never left its home in God to walk the world uncertainly. This is the self that knows no fear, nor could conceive of loss or suffering or death. Paragraph 4. Nothing is required of you to reach this goal except to lay all idols and self-images aside, go past the list of attributes, both good and bad, you have ascribed to yourself, and wait in silent expectancy for the truth. God has himself promised that it will be revealed to all who ask for it. You are asking now. You cannot fail because he cannot fail. Paragraph 5. If you do not meet the requirement of practicing for the first 5 minutes of every hour, at least remind yourself hourly. I am as God created me. I am his Son eternally. Tell yourself frequently today that you are as God created you, and be sure to respond to anyone who seems to irritate you with these words. You are as God created you. You are his Son eternally. Make every effort to do the hourly exercises today. Each one you do will be a giant stride toward your release and a milestone in learning the thought system which this course sets forth. So this is the course is presenting a whole thought system, right? This is an entire unified program and course and thought system. And Jesus says throughout that this is a thought system. This is the thought system of the Holy Spirit. And the ego has its own thought system. And we have learned that thought system very well. We have been schooled very well in the ego. But if we want to know our true reality, if we want to know the self as God created us, meaning our true self, then we have to learn the Holy Spirit's curriculum. We have to learn the Holy Spirit's thought system. And we have to unlearn the ego's thought system. And so Jesus is saying here in this lesson, you know, this one lesson could do it for you if you just take it seriously, right? If you take it to heart. I am as God created me. There's no problem. My true self is at home. I have nothing to fear. I have nothing to worry about. Even in this world, I can be at peace, even now. Even amidst all of the strife and struggle of the world, I can be at peace. I do not have to be agitated and irritated and angered and upset and depressed and in suffering. I can be free even now. So let's read this a little bit, and we'll just trying to look for some of the interesting nuances here. I am as God created me, paragraph 1. Today we continue with the one idea which brings complete salvation, the one statement which makes all form of temptation powerless, the one thought which renders the ego silent and entirely undone. You are as God created you. The sounds of this world are still, the sights of this world disappear, and all the thoughts that this world ever held are wiped away forever by this one idea. Here is salvation accomplished. Here is sanity restored. So you could take this one idea, you could meditate with this one idea, and you could go home with just this one idea. I am as God created me. This world is totally unreal. The world of sickness, death, and suffering, totally unreal. Of fear, guilt, and sin, guilt, and fear. It's not real. If I really rested in this idea, let this idea take me, it could. Will it take me all the way there? For some people, it might. For most of us, it probably is going to take a little time, right? So this is a process. I said a practice, a process, and a promise, right? Paragraph 2, true light is strength, and strength is sinlessness. If you remain as God created you, you must be strong, and light must be in you. He who ensured your sinlessness must be the guarantee of strength and light as well. You are as God created you. Darkness cannot obscure the glory of God's Son. You stand in light, strong in the sinlessness in which you were created, and in which you will remain throughout eternity. So, another related idea, I am as God created me, and you could say, the Son of God is sinless, right? There is no sin. The Son of God is sinless, or the Son of God is guiltless. Sin and guilt are egoic concepts. They are not your true reality. Anything in this world that brings up the sin and guilt is an opportunity to say, no, that's not true, right? That's not my reality. And I don't have to let that drive my thoughts of what I am, right? That I don't have to have a guilty identity. I don't have to have a sinful identity anymore. I can change my identity, to the one true identity. And also my actions, of course, because my actions go along. You know, my actions do not have to be driven by fear and by guilt. My actions now can be driven only by, or let's not say driven, but inspired by love. By the love which I really am, not by a false self that I've attached myself to, that I've made real in my mind. Paragraph 3, today we will again devote the first 5 minutes of each waking hour. This is a lot, right? Like 16 times today for 5 minutes to attempt to feel the truth in you. Begin these times of searching with these words. I am as God created me. I am his son eternally. We should do a song with this. Wait, I did do a song. Now try to reach the Son of God in you. This is the self that never sinned nor made an image to replace reality. This is the self that never left its home in God to walk the world uncertainly. This is the self that knows no fear, nor can conceive of loss or suffering or death. Okay. Now here's the thing. You may hear these words and you'd be like, yep. Totally right, totally true. But this all is all about bringing it into every moment, right? Every moment of every minute, of every hour, of every day, right? Because if you're not, whenever you fall from grace, so to speak, whenever you think or say or do something that is not in alignment with this idea, it means there's still some work to do, right? It doesn't mean you're sinful. It means that you can correct that, right? And that's why this is a practice. And we all waver. We're not fully consistent in this. And Jesus really is calling us to be consistent, to be with this idea all the time, not just some of the time, but all of the time. I might say more about that in a second. Paragraph 4, nothing is required of you to reach this goal except to lay all idols and self-images aside. Go past the list of attributes, both good and bad, you have ascribed to yourself, and wait in silent expectancy for the truth. God has himself promised that it will be revealed to all who ask for it. You are asking now. You cannot fail because he cannot fail. Right? So you lay all idols and self-images, all the false identities, all the things of this world that are not permanent, that are of change, and that are not completely real. As long as we cling to anything of this world, we're missing it, right? We want to abide, we want to rest and abide in the one truth that is eternal. And that means going beyond everything, going beyond all concepts. All concepts are egoic when it comes down to it. Even the best things in this world are still of the dream, of the illusion. So that's why he says both good and bad. Go past the list of attributes, both good and bad, you have ascribed to yourself. Even the idea that I'm a good person, people think I'm a good person, they like me. You're still caught in the ego, right? That's still being a good person for the course is good, but it's not enough, right? You want to move beyond that even. You want to go beyond these categories of thought. And you want to just abide in the one truth. I am as God created me. God is beyond good and bad, right? God is beyond all attributes. You cannot assign any attribute to God. And Jesus does not try to do that either. I mean, he might say that God is one or God is eternal, but those are also concepts, right? Symbols, they're symbols. God has himself promised that it will be revealed to all who ask for it, right? If you ask for the truth, you will find it. Seek and you will find. Seek and ye shall find. You are asking now. You cannot fail because he cannot fail. I heard this story from the Gospels today. I was listening to the radio. When Jesus, they're in the ship. I forget what gospel it is, but they're in the ship and Jesus is asleep, actually. His head is resting on a cushion And this storm starts, and the apostles start to get very, very freaked out about it. And they go and wake up Jesus, and Jesus calms the storm. And he says, "Why did you doubt? O ye of little faith, why did you doubt?" Right? And Jesus here in the Course is saying, you don't need to have any doubt whatsoever. If you have a doubt, it means that there's still some work to do, right? You want to get to the place beyond all doubt, or at least the littlest amount of doubt that you could have. But I think one of the most important things about the Course is that it's not forcing you to do anything. Jesus is not commanding you, and he's not saying if you don't do this, you're bad, or there's something wrong with you. He might say that you're insane, but everyone's insane, right? He's saying everyone. It's not just you. He doesn't single you out as being insane, but you are insane. We're all insane. Everyone is mad here, right? Because we took the tiny mad idea seriously. But Jesus is not forcing anything on anyone, right? This is something that everyone has to choose when they're ready, when they can put their whole heart into this, and say, yes, I want the peace of God. That's all I want. I want to know God again. When you can do that, then you will have that. As long as you don't fully want that, you won't fully understand what Jesus is saying, right? And you won't fully know yourself. Paragraph 5, if you do not meet the requirement of practicing for the first 5 minutes of every hour, at least remind yourself hourly, I am as God created me. I am his son eternally. Tell yourself frequently today that you are as God created you, and be sure to respond to anyone who seems to irritate you with these words. Who seems to irritate you. Just a little nuance there. Anyone, he doesn't say anyone who irritates you. He says anyone who seems to irritate you. Because that's just your perception usually. That's your interpretation of the other person. So Jesus is not even giving that credence. He's not giving that more reality than it really is. He's saying, some people might seem to irritate you, but that's on you. That's your problem, brother. Right? But you can just think in your mind about that person. You are as God created you. You are his son eternally. Doesn't rhyme though, that one. But make every effort to do the hourly exercises today. Each one you do will be a giant stride toward your release and a milestone in learning the thought system which this Course sets forth. So we're talking about how this can save you a lot of time on your journey, right? That's why this Course saves time. It's not that Jesus saves. This is the traditional view of Jesus, right? But Jesus saves time. This is what Jesus does in the Course. Jesus saves you time. How? Because he says there's two things, right? There's God and there's the ego thought system. There's the Holy Spirit's thought system and there's the ego's thought system. Only one of them is true. The other one is totally unreal. You are still as God created you. Stay with that thought and that's going to take you there, right? And he's very clear and very authoritative about it. That alone can save you a lot of time, right? Because now you have something that is pointing you in the right direction, right? Pointing you to be free of your suffering. So I am as God created me. So let me just say one last thing. So I've been talking to this Course teacher, and just share with you something, a little back and forth that we had. So she wrote to me, you cannot be a Course student or a teacher of the Course if you do not have a total commitment to the Course. So these were more or less her words. You cannot be a Course teacher, a Course student, or a Course teacher if you're not totally committed to the Course. So that sounds good on the surface, right? But I wrote back and I said, well, where does Jesus say that in the Course? He does not say that. And he would not say that. He would not say you can't be a student of the Course if you're not totally committed. Why? Because none of us are totally committed. right? We all have some fear, some anger, some doubt, some grievances, right? If you are honest about it, you will see that that's true. That doesn't mean you're not a student of the course, and that doesn't mean you can't teach the course. And in fact, we're all students and we're all teachers. So Jesus wouldn't say that, because that statement is full of judgment. It's like saying, I'm totally committed, but you're not totally committed. I am a course student and a teacher, but you're not, because you have not totally committed yourself, and I can show you that you have not totally committed yourself. but no one can say that, right? That's an internal thing, right? No one can tell me that where I'm at with it, right? That's between me and God. Now, that's not to say that we can't talk about these things. Obviously, we can. But, I would just be aware of when you start to get these judgments from other people, and you can just say, well, that's not true. And generally what happens, and I try my best not to import my own ideas into the course. It's called importing your ideas into the course, right? Putting things in the course which the course doesn't say. And people do that, and that's not horrible. That's okay, because in reality, the course works even if you're a little bit off with it, right? But if you're going to say that the course says that, then you have to, and if you're going to go and make the statement that you're not a course student if you're not totally committed, I would say Jesus's point is to say that none of us are totally committed. If we were totally committed, we would be with God, right? But we're not totally committed. We're here, right? We're in this world. So anyway, just some thoughts. If you want to, I would always love your feedback, your thoughts, and we'll keep this going. I appreciate your being here. Lesson 95 is next. I am one self united with my Creator. Stay tuned for that. I'm going to do more of the Gifts of God poem today, Helen Schuckman's final poem and final scribing before she passed. This came in 1978. And she passed in 1981. And I might also do The Secret of the Golden Flower. We'll see if we get there today. Thank you. See you soon.